Imagine waking up one day and discovering that your country had sold, for almost nothing, one of the richest lands on Earth. It sounds like a legend, but this is exactly what happened in 1867, when Russia sold Alaska to the United States for just $7.2 million. Today, that same land, full of oil, natural gas, gold, fish, and strategic resources, is worth trillions. This is the story of one of the most surprising and controversial transactions in history, the Alaska Purchase. A story shaped by miscalculations, economic crises, political pressure, and decisions made too quickly. And above all, a story that shows how one political choice can alter the destiny of entire nations. Why did Russia sell such an enormous territory? Why did the United States accept? And did Americans immediately understand the true value of Alaska? The truth behind these questions is far more complicated than it seems. By the mid-1800s, the Russian Empire looked powerful on paper but was weak in reality. After the disastrous defeat in the Crimean War against France and Great Britain, Russia was facing a severe economic crisis. Alaska, despite being vast, was almost impossible to manage, thousands of kilometers away from St. Petersburg and extremely hard to defend in case of a British attack from nearby Canada. Russia genuinely feared that, in the next conflict, Great Britain would simply invade Alaska and claim it for free. So from a strategic point of view, the government thought, better to sell it now and at least gain something. The truth is that Russia lacked the resources, the interest, and the infrastructure to develop the region. And that is how one of the most debated, and most regretted, decisions in Russian history took shape. The United States, on the other hand, saw Alaska as an opportunity. In 1867, the country was still expanding westward, during the era of manifest destiny, the belief that Americans were destined to expand across the continent. Secretary of State William Seward was the strongest supporter of the purchase. To him, Alaska was not just frozen land. It was a strategic military position, a commercial opportunity, and a natural resource giant waiting to be discovered. Yet many Americans mocked the decision at first. They called it Seward's folly, Seward's madness. People wondered why millions were being spent on a block of ice. No one imagined what the following decades would reveal. After the purchase, everything changed. Huge deposits of gold, oil, and natural resources were discovered. Filled Circle 1896, Klondike Gold Rush. Filled Circle early 20th century, massive oil fields discovered. Filled Circle today, Alaska holds some of the largest energy reserves in the United States. That massive block of ice turned out to be a nearly endless treasure. According to several estimates, Alaska's energy resources alone are worth trillions of dollars. And all of this was sold by Russia for the equivalent, in today's value, of roughly $140 million. An amount that seems almost ridiculous for a territory the size of a continent. Today many historians consider it one of the greatest strategic mistakes in Russian history. Russia lost a massive source of energy wealth and a key geopolitical position on the Pacific. At the time, the Tsarist government believed it had made a good deal, getting rid of a distant, hard-to-defend territory with no clear short-term value. But the future proved the exact opposite. If Russia had kept Alaska, it would today control one of the most important energy areas in the world and hold a strategic outpost directly next to North America. Imagine what that would mean in today's geopolitical climate. The Alaska Purchase is a powerful reminder. Political decisions made out of short-term economic necessity can have enormous consequences for the future. In 1867, $7.2 million seemed like a reasonable price. Today, looking at Alaska's wealth, it almost feels like a joke. The United States bought a treasure. Russia sold a future that could have reshaped its history. And that is why the Alaska Purchase remains one of the most fascinating, surprising, and debated transactions in modern history.